Welcome in. It's another edition of the Joanna McNamee Show presented by Appalachian Wireless. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, joined by our coach of the University of Pikeville women's basketball team, Joanna McNamee, coming off an upset win, 79-67 over then number 20 Cumberland University out of Tennessee. Coach, welcome back in.
Thanks for having me.
Split weekend, disappointment, and then another great win for the UPike program as well. Lindsey Wilson, 79-76 against the Lady Raiders of Lindsey Wilson College. And as we talked before this one came on the air, I can hear the disappointment in your voice in that game, because it was one that truly got away, and another one of those games that extremely competitive. The women played well enough to win, just one got away.
Exactly. It was, one thing that we brought finally in both games, in the Thursday and Saturday game, was intensity.
Right.
And even our bench, everybody had more fun. Our coaching staff had more fun coaching them, and the players 1 through 11 had more fun playing.
And then Cumberland U comes in, ranked number 20 in the country, and maybe the best performance from this UPike women's team this year?
Absolutely. That was the first time. Every game, I think, I pick apart afterwards and I say, well, we had a 3-minute spurt where we did good, but there's a 6-minute spurt where we looked terrible.
Sure.
That game, honestly, I found two 2-minute spurts where we were kind of dead, and outside of that, we played really solid basketball.
Right. Most coaches in mid-January, they don't expect 40 minutes of near perfection from their team, but they certainly want to be getting there. That was one of those games. When you get about 35 minutes, 34, 35 minutes out of your team that they can play what your expectations are, that's where you want to be. Of course, tournament time, but starting to get there now. And I can see that you're feeling better and better, more comfortable with this team every week.
We are, and they're feeling more comfortable, I think, with each other. And that was something that really, like I said, it started over Christmas break when we were all together, trying just to gel and get them to be a family on and off the floor and really inspire each other, I guess, for lack of. And they did that. You could hear in the Lindsey Wilson game, it started where the bench was just cheering like crazy for the players on the court. And then that transpired into when the players subbed in the game, they were ready to go. It wasn't like they had dead feet because they had been sitting on the bench kind of on, like bumps on logs. Everybody was ready, and it just creates confidence in our coaching staff and the players. And then, so after the Lindsey Wilson game, although it was a disappointment, we all talked about that was what we had to build on.
Right.
Although, yes, disappointingly, there was a lot of possessions, all 5 of us didn't necessarily show up with our intensity or thinking caps on, like my first grade teacher would say.
Sure.
But we came back and we built on that intensity level when we did show up mentally, I thought, and physically in that Cumberland game.
There are folks that are tuned in right now. They hear us talk about teams that are bonding and coming together in chemistry over Christmas break, becoming family. Let's talk about, from a coach's perspective, what that means to play on the court. How does that correlate? Chemistry, family, a togetherness, a cohesiveness in a team. How does that correlate? How are you able to quantify that in play on the court?
It's kind of like when you're growing up, if you have siblings, if someone says something bad about your brother or sister and you hear it, how your blood boils over and you just want to get after that person. Well, if you can get your team to feel that way about each other, when someone gets beat off the dribble, you have that rotation and they're going to help each other because they don't want their teammate to look bad. They just become a cohesive unit on the floor. And it's funny, before the Cumberland game, there was the All-A Classic played before us, so we couldn't get on the floor. So my brother-in-law, Dan McNamee, came in and gave a speech to our team. And for the viewers that don't know, Dan is confined to a wheelchair, and it happened when he was his sophomore year up in Bridgeport High School playing football. And we had watched they did a special on him. And they watched the special, and then he came in and he talked to him, and basically just sharing that, it is about family and the opportunities they have, they just can't pass up because you never know when it's going to get taken away from you. And I have a hard time capturing our players' attention every day, but when Dan talked to them, he had their full attention, and I think it meant a lot.
Right, and a tremendous athlete in his own right.
Right.
As many of the McNamees are, but Dan is a special story, and I think it is inspirational to all. Don't let him talk to any of your opponents.
No way.
He can inspire anyone.
He can inspire anyone.
He truly can. And this team played inspired this past week. 79-76 loss to Lindsey Wilson, but an upset win over number 20 Cumberland U, 79-67. We'll talk about those highlights next. Also special guest Brittany Swindle, part of tonight's show. The Joanna McNamee Show. The U-Pike women, 7-9, 2-3 in the Mid-South Conference. We continue after this. The Joanna McNamee Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless.
Hey now, come on, let's go. The music's playing, I've got to move on, to go out, no more delaying. Pack my things up, carefree, adventures waiting. I'm heading out to see the rest of the world.
Welcome back in. It is the Joanna McNamee Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We talk U-Pike women's basketball, and there's been another Coach Mack in our area for a few years, but last week I heard some of the first references to Joanna McNamee as Coach Mack.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So Big Mac in studio tonight as we talk U-Pike women's basketball, and the women's team now 7-9, 2-3, extremely competitive. Even in the 9 losses, we look at that, we talk about that, try to take positives from that, and then one of those positives showed up in an upset win over a top 20 team in the country. And I think when you can do that, you've shown the rest of the league that you're going to play with anyone. The Mid-South very competitive on the women's side.
They are competitive, and that's what you just said. I'm hoping that this sparks the confidence that we've been looking for too.
Need that this week on the road.
Oh, we do.
At Georgetown, currently ranked 7th in the nation. And, of course, the University of Cumberland's always a tradition-rich, powerful team in the Mid-South Conference as well. Down in Williamsburg, they'll come in ranked 22nd in the country. But your team, knowing they've got to win over a top 20 opponent, have you seen a change in the mindset of them from last week?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, just before we came here, our practice had just ended, and I was, our office and locker room are kind of connected, and I could hear them in the locker room just bubbly.
Right.
It's been a while since this team has been a bubbly, happy team, especially after a practice, and they were all in there like getting after each other and laughing, and it was just nice to hear, kind of like when you have your kids in the house having fun and enjoying each other, you know, having your players in the locker room enjoying each other, and it's not like work to be there, but it's fun. That makes it, it shows progress.
Absolutely. We take a look at the highlights now. First, we'll back up to Lindsey Wilson last Thursday. Again, a 3-point loss, but the women will get things started. We'll get things started defensively. Courtney Haney sets up, takes the charge. And I know as a coach, you're up off the bench there cheering that play. You'd rather see those defensive plays.
Yeah, she could do a clinic on charges.
Brogan Conley, the soft-spoken Brogan Conley. We're still pushing for her to be on the show. She hits a jumper with an assist. And then, again,
another
defensively,
charge.
Courtney Haney. Offensively now, it's Candace Porter, and have really seen her come along. Can't get the shot to go, but Brogan Conley with the putback.
Brogan crashed the boards extremely hard in this game.
Plays hard in the paint and gets the shot to roll. Got every bit of the iron, but that's what it's all about. And then we see some teamwork here. The assist, Cheyenne Madden finds Brogan flashing and gets the assist. And then Patrice Tung, she's been a guest on this show. What a solid freshman. Steps up, hits the mid-range. Hanging tough right here. You see it's a 2-point game, and it was that way much of the night with Lindsey. And then right side, Brittany Swindle, guest on our show, hits the jumper, again off the assist. And then Brittany Swindle, offensive rebound, put back. Said that a few times at Shelby Valley. Again, we get a putback.
Again, our offensive rebounding really kept us in this game because we didn't shoot the ball very well in it.
Crashing the boards and Kristen Haney that time. And then a little give and go. Brittany Swindle running the floor on a bad foot. But the assist again, Cheyenne Madden, freshman to senior.
Yep, and here's Cheyenne again.
Cheyenne and she'll take the assist this time from Brogan Conley. Great teamwork, and I think that's something we've seen develop. And then Cheyenne, she gets it back from Brogan and gets the lay-in. Brogan out top, or off the left side, fires the three, bingo.
That was nice.
You see it in her eyes, certain nights that she has that confidence to shoot from anywhere.
Absolutely. When she gets her legs under her, she's a hard player to stop, and that's her again taking it hard to the basket. If she can go inside out, as long as she has that energy.
Indeed. Lindsey Wilson, of course, the Bears been with a 3-point lead in that game. They see it slip away. And we'll now go to Cumberland University. This game on Saturday, and a little turnaround shot. Swindle with the entry. Cheyenne Madden spins and puts up the fadeaway.
Yeah, but that's Kayla Day. She gave us great minutes. A nice shot from Patrice there.
Patrice Tong drills the jumper. We'll start this game in the second half. Cumberland U trailing by 2 at this point, near the midway point in the second half.
There's Candace Porter had a really nice game. There's her little high post up and under move.
Career high for Candace Porter in that game.
She had the whole Sheldon Clark team right behind her bench cheering her on this game.
Got to inspire her, and there she drives to the basket, beats her man, and lays it in. Felicia finds Cheyenne, driving the lane, lays it up.
And this was a game I thought Patrice really did a nice job driving and kicking and dishing. She really was more aggressive, Patrice Tong was.
The style that she played in high school is that drive, that give and go.
Right, and it's just, and there's Kylie, she's taking a nice to the basket. Just getting her to get that confidence at this level, and she's starting to get it.
Starting to see that out of the young players. Right side. Eldridge to Madden in the paint.
Right off that post player.
She is tough there.
She is. And here's another, watching Patrice take it in strong, or I'm sorry, passing off.
To Porter. And that's an aggressive move from Candace Porter coming off that set. And that's an aggressive move you don't see out of a young player.
Right, and there's a good one with Patrice taking it really strong to the basket.
Drives strong, finishes with the left hand, and U-Pike finishes with a 79-67 upset win over the number 20 ranked team in the country, Cumberland University. Good win, and that's a good game that you can take into a week on the road against two top 25 teams. Georgetown and Cumberland's tradition rich, and as you said, teams starting to feel confident, having a good time, and that's what it's all about.
That's right.
Take that into 2 wins this week. We'll talk about those games coming up. We'll get a scouting report on Georgetown and Cumberland's. When we come back, we'll step into the Bears Den. Brittany Swindle coming up on the Joanna McNamee Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in the Joanna McNamee Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Andrew Joyce now stepping into the Bears Den. Will be rejoined by the head coach of the U-Pike women, Joanna McNamee, in a bit, with the scouting report on Georgetown and Lindsey Wilson coming up. But right now, Brittany Swindle, 6-foot senior. Hard to believe that you are a senior and playing your last season with the U-Pike women. Brittany, welcome in.
Thank you.
Of course, we've seen you grow up. We saw you play your high school career. I had a reference to a play made at Shelby Valley. It brought back those type of things for us, seeing you in the highlights tonight. First of all, before we talk anything else, currently you've got a boot on the foot.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, I've been having some problems with it. I think I've just strained a few tendons. Nothing too serious, but I should be good to go by Thursday.
So right now, the boot just for protection when you're not on the court.
Yeah.
And playing through it. Mm-hmm. Painful when you play?
Yeah, it is.
Heavily wrapped, obviously, and try to keep support on it.
Yeah.
How much is it affecting your play?
I mean, the last game, it really started bothering me, but I'm trying to just not think about it and just play through it.
Play through it. Mm-hmm. Tough girl right there. Brittany, before we talk basketball, let's talk about academics. You are a senior. Let's talk about your academic major and what your plans are.
Well, I'm a biology major, and I'm planning on attending medical school, hopefully.
Very good.
Yeah.
And wrapping up, you are a senior. You'll graduate in this spring?
Yep.
How exciting is that?
It's pretty exciting, but I kind of don't want to leave. I've been here for 4 years, and I've really enjoyed it, so.
Right. Medical schools that you've applied to?
Yeah, I've applied to 5 different schools, and they're all in different states.
So the girl from right here in Eastern Kentucky, you're ready to leave here.
Yeah.
If you get accepted to a medical school in one of those other states, and I would imagine you've applied here in Kentucky as well.
Yeah.
You're ready to leave.
I am. I think it would be a good change for me to branch out and do something different.
What made you decide to go into medicine?
I've always wanted to do it. Like, as long as I can remember, I've wanted to be a doctor. So that's all I know.
Notice you had a doctor's diagnosis of the tendons that you had strained. That was much more than just a student athlete's definition of the injury. So you're getting your work done. How tough is it for a student athlete, for someone who plays the rigorous demands of college basketball? Because big school or small school, there's still a lot of time spent practicing, traveling, game days, being out of class. How tough is that to balance a rigorous academic schedule like you have in a biology major? How tough is that for you to be able to balance those two with time demands?
Oh, it's really tough. I have to choose what's important, and sometimes I don't get to hang out with my friends like I'd like. I have to put school over that, but I think anyone can do it if they have the determination.
Brittany Swindle, when you're on the road traveling with the U-Pike women, you have homework that needs to be done. You have reading that needs to be done. You have a test coming up. You take a full backpack with you on the road.
I do. I'm always studying on the bus, and I'm always.
Everybody else, they've got the buds in their ears. They're listening to whatever the music is of that day, and you may be listening to a lecture from class.
Yes, that's me.
Do you feel like a little bit like the geek on the team?
Yeah, I kind of do. I studied the whole way to Bluefield, and everyone was kind of looking at me like, what is she doing? But like, we're not even in school right now, but I've been studying for the MCAT, so.
Sure. But you're okay with that?
Yeah.
Because you've got your mind focused, you know what you want to do, and you know what it takes to get there. I think it's highly admirable that you're able to do that and balance basketball, something you love to do, obviously. Let's talk about that now, Brittany. When did you begin your basketball and your sports career? Because I know you weren't just a basketball player growing up, but talk about playing athletics growing up. When did you first play your first organized sports?
I started playing basketball. I was in 2nd grade, Little League.
Right.
And I also played softball, and I ran track in middle school. But in high school, I just did softball and basketball. Those are my favorites.
Right. Basketball still your favorite?
Yeah, it'll always be my favorite.
Who's been a great basketball influence in your life?
My dad. Like, he played college ball too, and he's always motivated me and kept me like focused, and he's really been my hero, I guess.
Very supportive. You guys play pickup games in the driveway?
Yeah.
Still do?
Yeah, me and my dad and my brothers, we all play.
Who wins?
I do, of course.
Okay. I like that out of you. Brittany Swindle, wrapping up a career at U-Pike. You've seen coaching changes now. Joanna McNamee joins the U-Pike team, and we don't want to disrespect anyone who's been here before, but what's the mood in the locker room with Coach McNamee as the coach? Has there been a change?
Yeah, she brings a lot more energy, and she motivates us to play the best that we can, and she's been a good fit for us.
7-9, this team got off to a rocky start to get the season started, but knocked off a top 20 opponent last week, playing very well, very competitive, and Coach said the girls were upbeat. They were having fun after even a practice today. What does winning do to change that? And she talked about the cohesiveness, how this team's coming together. Are you coming together?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, everybody likes to win, and I think winning is contagious, so once we get one win, I think we're going to get a lot more as long as we just stay focused and stay together.
Coming up on Thursday at Georgetown, your last trip there.
Yeah.
Everyone hates Georgetown.
Yeah.
We all hate Georgetown. And no offense, if you're tuned into this program, it's just a rivalry. Get over it. But we go to Georgetown. How big would it be for you to get a win in your senior season at Georgetown?
Oh, it would be great. Like, we beat them last year, and I remember that was like one of the highlights of the year, so
Absolutely.
it would be another big highlight.
ranked number 7 in the country. Does Georgetown intimidate you at all?
No, I think the way we've been playing, I think we can do really good. I have a lot of confidence in our team.
Obviously, you're one of the more experienced members of the team, one of the leaders on the court as well, but young players starting to contribute a lot. Are they starting to find their roles and see that they can be successful in this league? If a young player came to you and said, what do I need to expect on the road at Georgetown and Cumberland's this weekend, what would you tell them?
I would just tell them that they just need to have a little confidence. It's not as bad as it seems, it's just another game.
Right. Georgetown on the road, we want to wish you the best of luck, not just this weekend, but the rest of the year. And best of luck on that MCAT, because I know that's a huge part of your future plans. And we look forward to seeing Dr. Brittany Swindle on a white jacket someday.
Thank you.
Maybe your first patient. As we all get a little older, we've got to have a good doctor around. Thanks so much. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
It's been our pleasure to see her play her entire career, growing up, know her dad, and then wrapping up a career at UPike, and truly a fine example of what college athletes are all about, those student athletes, Brittany Swindle. We'll return with Coach Joanna McNamee after this. It's presented by Appalachian Wireless on EKB Sports and PikeTV.com. Welcome back to the Joanna McNamee Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Andrew Joyce, rejoined by the head coach of the UPike women's program, Joanna McNamee. And Coach Mac, a fine representative of the UPike women's program, Brittany Swindle. Truly what a student athlete is all about. Majoring in biology, getting the coursework done, even with the time demands, and aspiring to be a physician. And that's what college athletics, small college athletics, is all about.
Right now, it's hard to appreciate because not many people have done that. To have, it's basically having a full-time job,
right,
where you travel,
sure,
and getting your degree in biology,
right,
as a full-time student. There's not very many people that could do that, and that's why she'll always have my respect, because she is very disciplined,
right,
and that's hard to ask of a she's a true senior. It's not like she was a redshirt. She's 20. Just turned 22 years old. That's
sure
a lot of discipline.
Yeah, absolutely. And taking the studies on the road, it takes discipline, because it would be easy to put the earbuds in and listen to music with your teammates, but so focused on what her future goals are. And we'll need doctors.
That's right.
Sooner or later. I'll need them sooner than you will as I get older. So I remember the players that come through, and the smart kids. And when I'm looking for a doctor, I'll remember those UPike grads, and we appreciate that. And it does remind us what small college athletics is about. Coming up this week, on the road at Georgetown, on the road at Cumberland's, two tradition-rich programs, both ranked in the top 25. How has prep work been for the team this week?
It's always, that Thursday game is always a little bit nicer because you have more time to prep. So today we got to watch Scout and go over Scout and did a little bit in practice, and then tomorrow we'll get to do it again. Saturday's game is always a little tricky because you just have Friday's practice to prepare, right, so you only have that one day, but on the flip side, your opponent only has that one day too. So, these are two very, like you had mentioned, solid teams that the thing that puts them where they are ranked in the country is they're consistent.
Sure.
And we're trying to get there.
Right. Very competitive. But that's been the missing ingredient so far, is getting that consistent 35 minutes out of this team.
Right, and Georgetown, every team I think that we play generally, with exception to Campbellsville, will have a couple players that maybe don't have that 100% of the game they go hard, but they'll have 3 or 4. This Georgetown team, the 1 through 8 of their 3 kids off the bench included, they play consistently hard.
Sure.
And we have to match that consistency and then just bring a little bit of our effort and intensity. And I think it could be a great game if we do that.
If you find that magic bullet that builds consistency for 35 minutes, they'll rename you Pat Summit
Yeah. All right.
It's tough to come up with.
It is.
And it truly, there is no magic bullet to find that, and that's what makes college basketball so much fun. Best of luck this week at number 7, Georgetown, Thursday night at 6. Folks can tune in to piketv.com, and of course the broadcast party at Booth Auditorium for those on campus. So it should be a rocking night. We'll be at Georgetown, but those of you that are here or wherever you're tuned in, you'll be able to see it on piketv.com. Of course, listen on Z1075, the official home of UPike Athletics, at Georgetown, then at Williamsburg Saturday. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Let's talk about a couple of wins next week.
I hope so.
Coach Mack, the Joanna McNamee Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to all the crew at East Kentucky Broadcasting Sports and Pike TV. Thanks for tuning in.